Hello and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast. My name's Scott and I'm steering the ship today because our usual host Tony has chronic hiccups for the day. May have had one too many beers. Tony, are you hanging in there? You good?
I'm here, mate.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm cracking on.
Good to have you back, Ben. Welcome
Cheers,
back.
Mate.
Back for the important
Thanks,
one
mate.
with the draft.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations to Arsenal.
Yep, massive.
Sneaked it at the end, didn't you?
It was never in doubt, was it? Never in doubt. And James, are you hanging in there? You good?
Just about. I've been struggling. I had to move out of my apartment because I had no water. So I moved into a hotel with the worst internet ever. So I've had to come back to the apartment to just to do the podcast. And then go back to the hotel.
That's dedication.
It's not going great at the moment.
We're getting James home.
Well, this is
Things I do.
This is the podcast everyone's been waiting for, isn't it? The draft picks. We're going to be looking over some of our drafts, discussing those. Hello to the Patreon members that are in the chat watching this live. You can get a link to the description, link in the description for the Patreon group. And we've got some new Patreon members to shout out. Is that right? So we've got Jack Stafford. We have Jamie Bedford. And then we've got the mighty Dan Sherwood, who we all recognise from being high up in the leaderboards over the past few seasons.
Yeah, top fancy player. Dan Sherwood.
Welcome everyone to the gang. We kicking things straight off.
Hey, why not?
Can I just say something before we kick off? I would just like to give my heartfelt thanks to Dream Team for moving the goalposts a week and a half before the season starts.
Yeah.
So they've changed the bonus point tiers, and it does have some impacts on potential the scores that players would have got last season, etc.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to do some more analysis, I'm afraid. So all that work that we did for the previous pods it's not out of the window, but it has changed. I've had a quick look. Hopefully this week we have a better internet connection, and I'll be sharing some of my analysis on our Discord for the patrons.
Was it not my internet that failed last week? It was mine that dropped out, weren't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad that they've changed the rules this late on, but it's better off than it either being a broken system for the season or changing it mid-season, something like that. So it's not ideal, but at least they've done it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they needed to, didn't they? The points per match kind of thing, like to work out a bonus point system for players. It were inachievable. So at least they've sorted that. I know it means that now we've got to have a lot of different permutations and stuff, but at least they've sorted it beforehand, and we can crack on from there.
I think just before we get stuck into our drafts as well, just a quick shout out to the leagues. Shall we do? So we've got our very own tag team league going on. So team up with a mate, £25 each, £50 as a team, and your combined scores will go towards that.
Honestly, that is the quality. We're going to laugh that through all the season. It's a good laugh.
Something a little bit different.
I'm teamed up with Andy Boyner, who's one of the patrons, another Rovers fan. Me and him, we've teamed up. I think we'll do all right. Ben, have you got yourself a partner?
Yeah. I've got Magoo as my partner. December crew.
The December crew.
We're both born on the same day as the Patreon.
Hey. Right, you, James?
Yeah, you got yours, James?
I haven't yet. No, I'll team up with one of the patrons at some point. I think.
He's
I'll
got
have to
something
do
up
that
his sleeve.
early part of this week. I think. Send your applications to my personal inbox. I'll vet you all individually if you haven't yet got a partner.
Who have you got, Scott?
Me and Connor.
Yeah, you and Con.
Taking over the league. Well, and then the other option is if you're a bit of a lone wolf and you fancy going it alone, we've got the standard cash league going on as well. So that's a £50 entry per team, and there's going to be monthly prizes as well. We'll do a full breakdown of the prizes once we know how many entries we get.
Yeah.
But yeah, £50 per team, overall winners, and then monthly prizes to keep it exciting for everyone throughout the season. So if you've got no friends, you can go for that one. Or if you fancy winning them both, But on that note, straight on to drafts.
Yeah, why not?
Do it.
Why not?
So I'm going to have to read these out to you, seeing as you've got full control of the screen here, haven't you? So give us a shout on the comments if you can see the drafts going on here. But should we start off with your team? It'll be the easiest one to get started with, Tony.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah. Do you know? Can I show my screen on there? Right. Yeah. I'll just talk through it. I think.
Do you need me to read it to you, or can you remember it?
Oh, go on. You're right. Johnson in the net. Minimal outlay, as I probably touched on in the last pod, was keeper. He's definitely going to be the cheapest player in my team.
Scott, what are you drinking? Look, that big bottle of champagne.
Asahi Super Dry.
Oh yeah, Man City
Hey,
drink.
look at that.
They sponsor Man City, don't they?
Yeah, just thought I'd rub it in. Other beers.
All right, hold on. I wore a City shirt today, this sky blue. I thought when you were there drinking our tears. Anyway,
sorry, carry on.
Set off now. Right, so we got Johnson in there, just a very cheapie. I've very much gone for attack in defence. Trippier. I know Newcastle's fixtures aren't great, but with the way the rules work, chances created, completed crosses, things like that. Trippier, he was dying last year. I think he's been an absolute points maniac this year. So I can't seem to leave him out, no matter how bad his fixtures might be. These fucking dogs, I tell you what. Right, 1 second, chaps. Right, listen. And then we've got another absolute assist machine in Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't trust that Liverpool will be keeping many clean sheets. Again, it's more for his crosses, his big chances created, and assists, even goals. He's up there. It's dangerous to leave these lads out of your team if you can afford them in there. So I've gone with them. Third at the back, Estupiñán, who had a great season at Brighton last year. Brighton, just a really good team. Brighton, I'm really impressed with watching the football they play. The manager's just really impressive how he's got this load of players playing to a certain degree, and they're very, very good. And Estupiñán has got a bit of everything. So yeah, he's a nice cheap option there in defence. So yeah, one to keep an eye out on. Then I've gone for 4 in midfield. In my first draft, obviously this can change. I mean, this can change towards the back end of this week. Fernandes, who I've just spoke about, he's one player I couldn't leave out. And we've looked at the stats, we've looked at everything. He's probably a player that ticks every single box in every department. And if you leave him out, yeah, you're probably going to suffer for that. Mitoma, who had a great year at Brighton. A player I'm hugely like expecting more from this season. I really do like Brighton. And a nice home fixture against Luton to begin with. I think they're going to destroy Luton. So it's a little bit of that. Trossard against Forest. He got a couple of goals last friendly. Scott, you'll know a hell of a lot more of this. I mean, Trossard might as well have a Brighton shirt on. He's a bloody talented player. Another one who's come through that angle. And obviously, with Jesus being injured, I'm hoping Trossard gets a start against Forest. And he'll team because he's not only dangerous goal scoring wise, but assist wise, crosses, dribbles. He's a very good player. And then alongside him, Enciso, who I think is an absolute bargain. If he plays most of the games for Brighton, he's going to be one hell of a capture in this format. Shots, goals scored, assists. He were unbelievable for Brighton last season, especially the second half of the season. Very talented player. Who could bag plenty of points. As well with Brighton being in Europe this season, it's not even like that you're crazy putting them in your team. They're going to have fixtures. They have the fixture volume as well as the bloody talent. Right. Anyway, up top, Haaland. If anyone goes out Haaland, you're going to lose. That is simple. He's just that good. And I'd probably second it with a little bit with Salah and Liverpool. It's tough because Liverpool have so many good attacking options now, like with Nunes, Gakpo, Diaz,
Jota.
Jota. I mean, you're looking at you Salah's a nailed, isn't it? I think he's probably the only nailed. Like you'd think. So Salah's up there at the moment, and then just an absolute cheapie, and I think. We've touched on him in the last pod as well, is Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea. If he proves to do what he can do, and he does it in this league, at his price, he's unbelievable value. Unbelievable. So, and he enables some of them other big hitters, like being able to have Haaland, Salah, and Fernandes with Trippier and Alexander-Arnold. I think I've got a pretty balanced team there.
Yeah, he's become an even better option, hasn't he? Since I think since we did the last pod, I think that Nkunku's picked up an injury as well, and is a doubt to start the season now. So it looks like that is nailed on as the striker. So
yeah, definitely
a good value pick. That Ben James, any you're gonna roast his team? You're gonna
go on, rip me to bits.
Well, I think Enciso's minutes would be a concern, but he is only 2 million, so perhaps you can forgive that. That would. I mean, he was in my very first draft, and then I did a bit of research into Brighton, and I took him out because I'm not convinced he'll get enough minutes. That would be my concern. I like the rest of the side. It's looking good. I'm not. I think Salah this year is going to be more of an assister than a goal scorer. I think that could happen. I mean, it's still in flux at the moment, but the way that they've been lining up, it points more to Salah being a provider than a goal scorer. So, I think for that price, you want a goal scorer.
Who let the dogs out? Woof. Woof, woof.
Honestly,
they're the main points I would make on that.
Salah
team.
looking a bit wider then? Is he looking a bit more out of the touchline with Darwin?
He's been playing a bit wider. I mean, I've been listening to I listened to the Blood Red podcast. These guys go into it especially the Analysing Anfield pod. They go into the detail of the formations and how different players will affect things to an incredible depth. And I follow a lot of the Liverpool blogs and Twitter accounts, And I've seen other people saying that they think he's going to be more of a provider this year. So that puts me off a bit, to be honest. I'm not saying he won't still rack up some decent points, but he's a very expensive asset. I think you want goals, really.
What about big chances created, crosses completed?
He'll get plenty of those. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it'll be interesting to see how that pans out with
definitely.
Scores. Yeah,
definitely.
Should we quickly fill that out on the screen, Tony? See if this works.
Go on.
You've got the thing up on the screen, haven't you?
What do you want me to do?
See if it works. Put your team in just in case anyone missed or is joining late.
Right, yeah.
You got Johnson first.
So first up, yeah, we got this lad Johnson in the goal. In defence, we got these two lads. Honestly,
big hitters in defence. I've not seen many teams of both, or any teams of both. I don't think
they're going to be crossing, and it gets me excited about these crosses completed. I think they'll be racking up the points. Yeah. So we've got them two, and then Brighton lad, Estupiñán, who's a little bit of everything. Estupiñán, very talented player. I like him. A player that I think is absolutely essential, Fernandes. I don't think you should be going without him. De Bruyne, obviously, I know he was on the bench, weren't he, tonight? He came on.
Mr. Penn.
Came on, Mr. Penn. Did he get an assist?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if he got the assist for that. It was a great finish.
Yeah, I think he did, because I remember thinking, he must have got an assist for that. If it was,
I think he sneaked one in, didn't he?
That was a bloody good finish, though.
Yeah.
Mahrez vibes.
Yeah.
Other than that, we've got Matona. We've got
Trossard.
Trossard's coming in. There he is. And we've also got another Brentford lad, haven't we? In NC, so 2 million. Just to fill my midfield. Mm-hmm. Then up top, I say, as much as I love Ferguson, he's a talented young lad. You've got to go with Haaland. In my eyes, I am honestly, my team, and I'll say this out there now, my team could completely change if Kane stays at Spurs. Can I just say this?
He scored 4 today.
I'm hoping he goes to Bayern, because if he don't go to Bayern, it makes everything so much more difficult, because I want Kane in my team then. But I'm leaving him out for now. We're going Salah. And then with the last bit of money, obviously a bit of a value pick and someone who could do very well is the lad at Chelsea. Where I find him? Where's he gone?
Michael Jackson.
That's it. Is Nicholas Jackson. And there we are. That's the 11 for me. It's a decent 11. Like I say, Kane could rip a little bit of that up, but I'd like to attack the season with Trent and Trippier, with the way the rules are working. Fernandes and Haaland, I think, are must-haves, and the rest, I think we've given a lot of good options, especially the last pod. I think we give a hell of a lot of good options. Visser, Brentford, there's other players that could fill that out and spread it out, especially with the first couple of game weeks. So, yeah, that's mine.
Well,
I'll reset it.
I've got James next up on the list, but before we do that, do leave a like on the video on YouTube, and also leave your roast on our teams in the comments below as well. Let us know what you think of all of them. And we've got James up next.
Cool. Right. Do you want to clear that team,
Yeah,
Tony, and
clear
do it
these.
as we go?
I'll try my best. He won't let me do it.
I don't think there is. I think you have to click all the crosses. I don't think there is a clear all.
Yeah.
Oh, you just get it.
Well, whilst you're clearing the team down, I'll kick off.
Yeah.
I've gone for Johnston as well in goal. 1.5 million for a playing goalkeeper. In a reasonably good defence is probably a gift horse. Well, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, as they say. I still do like Flecken in that position, but he's a million more. And that million can go a long way in the rest of the team. So currently, I've got Johnston in goal. I've got Chilwell. He's been very attacking in pre-season. He looks to be as if he's got past his injury problems of previous years. He's looking fit.
Yeah.
He's definitely been the most attacking defender in that Chelsea side. I mean, shout out to the Planet FPL pod, by the way. Well, they do brilliant pre-season roundups for all 20 sides. So I would recommend that anyone go and listen to James at Planet FPL as well, because they really do get into depth. They do. They bring a manager on that's actually a fan of the club and discuss discuss each team in depth. So that's an invaluable resource in my book for pre-season. So Chilwell's looking good. Not much competition. He's got the Cucurella's still there, but I don't really see him threatening too much of Chilwell's minutes. Currently, I've gone for Wan-Bissaka in. I really wanted some United coverage because their defence was decent last year, and a lot of us did quite well off the back of Man United blocks after the Newcastle block faltered. So I've currently got Wan-Bissaka in there. Clearly, there's some rotation risk with Dalot there, but I think Wan-Bissaka will probably get more minutes. That remains to be seen. He's not. I wouldn't say he was nailed. I would say Chilwell currently is nailed in my side. I did have Martinez in there at 4 million, but Wan-Bissaka being a million cheaper at 3 million. And that was put some funds further up top. Currently got John Stones as my third centre back. I don't think there's going to be usually what you find at the start of the season. There isn't quite as much rotation. Well, I might get that. Could be famous last words, couldn't it, with Pep? But there's generally not as much rotation at the start of the season because the cup competitions aren't in full force, etc. Particularly for the bigger sides. So they've only got one game a week for the first few weeks. So I'm hoping that John Stones will play the first 3 or 4 games at least. Clearly, if he's playing that inverted fullback role, he's a lot further up the pitch. Going to be quite involved in the game. So he's currently my third choice, in third spot for my centre backs.
You got a shot on target. Shot on target today.
Yeah. Fernandez, I think, is probably going to be in everyone's teams on here. So I'm going to skip past him for obvious reasons because Tony's already done the rundown of him. I've got Saka at the moment. I wouldn't say he was nailed. I did fancy having a Man City midfielder in there. And I was watching Grealish. He didn't have a great game today. And Foden looked at Brighton spells. I think Saka could be could be Grealish or Foden. But currently I've got Saka in there. Anthony, 3.5 million.
Cool.
He was one of the main beneficiaries of the new rule changes when we looked at it in previous pods. And, it's time that he kicked on, really. They paid a lot of money for this guy. Ten Hag obviously rates him. He's currently in there. I wouldn't say he's nailed in my side at the moment, but I do think he could have a good season. annoying as hell to watch, to be honest. But
No, I like that shout. I like that.
Cheers, Tony. I've gone for Matoma. I think out of all of the attacking midfielders at Brighton have got, I think he's probably the one that's least prone to rotation. But they do have a lot of options in that midfield. So currently I've got Matoma in there as my fourth midfielder. Haaland doesn't need any explanation. He's 85.2% owned on the game. Can you believe that? Well, you can. Actually, why am I saying
He
that?
should be 100%.
Not to have him. I've also gone for Jackson for the same reasons as Tony. Obviously, he had a 2.5 million Chelsea forward. If he's getting game time, which it looks like he will, given the injuries, etc., that are going on there. A decent pre-season he's had. He could be gold. Heung-min Son is my third choice striker at the moment, primarily based on the fact that he was one of the players that would have benefited the most with the points changes. It's quite staggering how many more points he would have got. Clearly, there's a new manager in there. We don't know what's happening with Kane. So that I would say that spot is certainly not nailed at the moment. But I think Sonny can have a good season. I mean, Richarlison at 2 million? He could be absolute gold as well if he kicks on. But the only thing that puts me off, and I nearly went for Richarlison over Jackson, is that he didn't have the greatest of seasons last year, but he was in and out of the side. I think he had a few injuries. So I think Richarlison...
Has he ever... I just think with Richarlison, has he ever been a goal scorer?
And
not like it puts me off a little bit. Just like obviously we know Son can go on and probably score 20 Premier League goals a season, can't he? Yeah. It's just as Richarlison, I know he's talented, but has he got that in his locker to be able to score that many goals consistently? I just don't.
The jury's out.
He was doing enough to get Everton out of trouble. He was scoring enough goals to get them out of trouble, but it's a big difference between getting a bottom team out of trouble and then pushing on at a top team, isn't there?
Yeah, scoring 3 or 4 important goals, or pushing a top team on and scoring 15, 20 goals and getting them into Europe or wherever it might be. Yeah, there's levels in there. He's a talented player, Richarlison. He is, but I just don't think he's this clinical player who's gonna score you 20 goals a season. And I think that's why Dream Team have probably priced him at that.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree. I think he could be an asset, but I'm not willing to take that risk at this stage.
I think you'll probably grab him at some point, and he'll probably do somebody a bloody world of good. He'll probably score he'll go on a little run, probably score 4 or 5 goals running, but then you have to be on it and then off it as quick as that. And I think you'll be very lucky.
Don't forget the referees are supposed to be cutting down on petulance this year as well. And can you name a more petulant player than Richarlison? To be fair, that also applies to Fernandes to a degree.
Yeah, he's
constantly.
It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't Richarlison? I was going to say, didn't Richarlison get 3 yellow cards for what was it, taking his shirt off, and then the goals got ruled out by VAR? I think that happened 3 different occasions. Apparently, I think I saw that. I think I saw Antonio ripping into him on a podcast about that.
Keep your shirt on, son.
Go on, Ben.
Yeah,
you be the roaster.
Go on, Ben. Give it to me.
Let's look at James's team. Well, you've got no money in the bank then. 0.5, yeah.
I think there might be 0.5.
Yeah, 0.5.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a good team. I'm not too keen on Anthony. I know where you're coming from with the tackles and the shots on target. Could be an asset. I'm not looking at him yet, just because of possible rotation. Stones. I'm not sure about him. I think could you go Walker for 3.5 million? He's saves you 1.5 million. I know Stone's probably more nailed, but if he's trying to keep Walker at the club, he's going to play him, isn't he? Because he don't want to sell him, does he? Because he's just like so important for them big matches. Those big matches against teams.
Sure, though, Ben, it's going to come to a point where Pep's going to go, look, if you're not going to sign a new contract, I tell you what, we'll just put Rico Lewis at right back, or we'll play John Stones at right back. He won't let Walker take the club on a ride, kind of thing. I know they want him there, and rightly so. But if he's showing interest elsewhere, and I think Pep will deal with that. I don't think we'll see Walker. I think it's more going to be upsetting for him than anybody.
I saw some inside info on that. So apparently, Walker and Pep were seen out to dinner together at a Japanese restaurant a couple of days ago.
Of course they were.
Pep cycled there on his $5,000 bike apparently, and they were seen out to dinner together.
They were on pints of Asahi, weren't they?
But he had the armband on today. Walker had the armband on today, so he might have paid
big
for dinner.
cuddles.
He's so important for them big matches. It's like a safety net back in his pace.
He's unreal. He's unreal, Kyle Walker. We know that, don't we? And I think Pep knows that. I would guess that the argument's probably the length of time the deal is for. I would guess. Because once players get to that age, 31, 32, whatever Walker is now, they always want a couple of years more, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that cement their future as well. I get it. But then obviously clubs aren't as willing to offer as many years as the player probably wants. So I'm sure they'll come to an agreement. Would I go Walker over Stones? Like you said, Ben, it's a lot of saving, isn't it, on the money? If you need it somewhere else, then yeah.
If you can get you closer to Kane or something, or Rashford, or
because I don't. Obviously, this is the second team I've seen through my team without Kane in, and if we know Kane stays at Spurs, then I think, like I say to a lot of our listeners now, is these teams might be a little bit different because we're probably going to want Kane in. I don't know. Obviously, Scott, if you want to have a little bit of critique, but other than that, James, I like it. I think Chilwell's a bit of a punt, but he's a punt that he creates so many chances. Chilwell, he crosses. He's a lovely little player, and if he's back to his best, then he's a good asset. And the rest of it, I like the Anthony pick, me. I do. I like the Anthony pick. I don't like him as a player as such, but as an asset in this game, I think he might be a little bit of a diamond. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's Marmite. I'm not too
it's
sure.
It's worth noting Chelsea haven't played with a back five in pre-season, so that but I've been reading the match reports, and Chilwell has been the most attacking player. You would normally prefer to go for a fullback if they're playing like a back three or back five with wingers, with fullbacks. I think he could have a good start to the season, but it's interesting. I thought they might start with a back five, but no, they haven't played that once in pre-season. So that is an interesting fact for you guys.
They've got such a good fixture run as well, Chelsea. Once that Liverpool game's out of the way, was it West Ham, Luton, Forest, Bournemouth, Villa, Fulham, Burnley? All pretty good games, really. So,
yeah.
I think that looks solid. The only thing I did notice about Stones today, I have had my eye on him a little bit, but I noticed today they didn't do the inverting thing. I don't know. It's hard to know, isn't it? Where it's Arsenal versus City, they always try and Pep and Arteta are always trying to do something a little bit different, aren't they? And they just played a sort of flat back four today with Kovacic and Rodri just ahead of him. But I do think he's going to be a really good pick over the course of it. Interesting to know. Have we got a price for that? The new signing, Gavardiol?
Click it on.
He's on there.
Let's
Yet.
have a look.
I don't think he's on.
I don't think he's been added yet.
Is it?
What do you reckon? 4.5? When he comes on?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think same price as a Kanji, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you get no cheap deal out of him.
Nah, especially at the price tag.
Unfortunately. And I think all it is, he ruins a little bit of everybody else's option with the City defence. It just makes it more difficult, doesn't it?
Right, should we clear this one and go on to Ben?
Yeah, let's go. Get rid of all these.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Go on.
I'm going to caveat this because I haven't changed it since yesterday. So obviously there's been a few surprises today, and a few players have popped up who you wouldn't have normally who we didn't. You know, the lineups today with the Man City Arsenal game. It's like made me change my mind now because I think, do I need to do something different? Yeah. Right, so I've got me cheap goalkeeper John Stone. John Stone paint trophy in goal.
Where is he? He's all down here, isn't he? There he is. We got him.
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah, he played the end of the season, was pretty good, when he good at West Brom, loves a save, and the stats look good for him to carry on this season. Next, I've got Trent. He looks like he could be a points magnet. Playing in midfield, hopefully. He didn't play midfield in the last Liverpool game, but I'm hoping he can play the inverted role. Move on. I've got Dunk in defence, centre-back. This is more probably a nostalgic pick from my Sky fantasy football picks because Dunk hammers the bonus points in on Sky. He gets the passing bonus every single week. He's unbelievable at getting the.
Does he grab the tackle bonus in Sky as well?
Yeah, you get.
What's he like for that?
Not so often, not as often in that.
No.
No, passing bonus every time, but he does all right. I think Estupiñán's better for tackling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's 3 million Dunk. I like that, but I might downgrade him yet. I might change him. I've got a few players in now. I need to whip out now, I think.
He's quite a relief now, Dunk, because he didn't play in pre-season, but he came back for today's game. So, relief there for people.
Just the fixtures for Brighton as well. They're really good. Starting off with Luton. Yeah. I'm thinking I might bring another Brighton defender in yet. I've got Saliba. He's in there, 3.5. Another good fixture. Forest. Very cheap for a top defender. So I'm just got him in there. I mean, Gabriel's probably a little bit better. More chance of getting points out of Gabriel with goals and that. But 1 million saving on Saliba.
Yeah, it's unbelievable price, Saliba.
Yeah. And then I've gone 4 in midfield, and I think I've got 1 million in the bank as well. So I've got a bit to play with. I've gone for Saka and Fernandes, just the 2 best midfielders.
Fernandes?
Yeah. 2 best midfielders. They get involved with the tackles, they're involved with all the set pieces, penalties. They're just everywhere, aren't they? They're like the main men of the team.
Yeah.
I think they're both nailed. The next one is another one I'm not sure about, but he's decent in Sky as well. Bruno Guimaraes.
Going Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm not liking the fixtures, to tell you the truth. They're quite tough, aren't they? Let's have a look. So Newcastle have Can't find them. All right, there. Villa, Man City, Liverpool, Brighton, up until the international break. So, I mean, for tackles, you're probably going to get tackles if you're playing the better teams, aren't you? Because you're going to be running around like one. So it might be a good pick. And obviously, he's the main man in the Newcastle midfield. He can get involved with the goals as well, assists. Next one, I've got similar one to you, Enciso, 2 million.
Yeah, I can see so.
But I've gone cold on him now. After seeing the lineups today for Brighton, he didn't even come off the bench.
Saving him.
He might be one.
Yeah. I don't know.
He might be one for later on in the season when the European games start in September. I think I'm going to take him out. I'm going to look. I'm going to keep him in my watch list, but he's. I think he's coming out for the start of August. And then up front, I've gone Haaland, and I've got Kane in there. Kane was in there from yesterday, and he's just unbelievable. And he scored 4 goals today. Yeah. But I'm so worried he's going to get sold. So if he gets sold, then I'll have to change it. Yeah. Then my third man is Nketiah, who was in before today's game. I did have Jackson, but then when I seen Jesus got injured, I was like, oh, I'll put Nketiah in. But then after seeing the lineups today with Havertz is maybe in my mind now. I don't know. He missed a couple of good chances, but the shots on target, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So I don't know. He probably would have come away with 4 points in the end, wouldn't he?
I think you got a book in. That's the only thing. But they were being. I think they were just making where it's the new rules and stuff like that. I think they were just making a bit of a scene with the yellow cards. It seemed like they were booking everyone.
Yeah, I watched the Leicester game today, and they were booking everyone in that game as well. Everyone got one for slight things. It was just, and the referees are just like, we're not taking no crap now. Just giving everybody yellow cards.
Making an example, aren't they?
Yeah, so, I'm probably going to take Nketiah out as well. Nketiah and Enciso are definitely on the chopping block.
Oh,
what do you think?
Yeah.
Have you considered Joe Linton instead of Bruno Ramirez?
Same price.
Sorry?
Same price.
Joe Linton?
Yeah, same price.
Same price. And he would have, based on last year's, based on the new rules with last year's games, he would have got 21 more points than Ramirez. So it's worth considering. He's got more of an attacking threat, I think. Same price would have got more points than Ramirez, which is quite interesting.
Okay. Is that including
nailed? Is Ramirez?
Is that including injuries and stuff? I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, so Ramirez did miss a few games, didn't he? So that might level it out a bit, but it's close. It's worth having a look at, I think. I can't give you a definitive answer at the moment, but all I can say is he would have got 21 more points than Ramirez would have done.
Yeah, I've just been looking at the new bonus points, and he was pretty high up on it, Bruno. I can't find it now. This website's completely got me now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's like, he's like 2, 4, 6, 8 from the bonus points. He got 50 points last year.
Yeah,
he could do a bit better with the goals.
Too,
yeah, he could do a bit better with the goals and assists though. He didn't do as well as the year before.
Yeah,
but I probably will take him out as well. What about who was the other one? Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm starting to get itchy feet about only having 2 big hitters up front as well. I like to have 3 big hitters usually, but then because of this new point system, I'm thinking, do I need to have a little bit of Trent in there? Tricky. You can't have everyone. It's hard.
It's been really tough. I think I find this the most frustrating part of the season, to be honest.
Obviously, once it all kicks off and everyone starts racking the points from that, it's like it seems easier to judge. But we're going into this blind, pretty much. Yeah, Sean. No, it's not the tea's ready. She's phoning me up just to tell me to leave the front door open, mate. We've both come back from a christening. I've come back for the podcast. She's out in town, so I might just lock the door and leave her out there. What do you reckon? Anyway, let's have a vote. Should I just lock the missus out? You stick that in the YouTube comments.
Seth is saying in the chat, are you worried about Trent? Are you worried about Trent's price going down after that first game?
Oh, me, yeah. Yeah, I am a little bit. That's what I was saying. I might just go for a big front three and then try and build my team. That's how I usually play it. Usually have front three massive up front and then I go small at the back. Have a few good midfielders, but
the thing is, I get this.
Sorry, quickly.
People about like saying, "Oh, that Trent's price is going to go down." I'd say this. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go without him. Yeah. 6 million, and then watch him swing in 6 very good crosses. And not all right. He might concede.
Yeah.
Watch him swing in 6 very good crosses for Liverpool. Get 6 points, and actually his price goes up. I know playing Chelsea, but we're going to look at this in a different way. Obviously, the defenders aren't just now solely, especially the likes of Trent, all these attacking fullbacks. They're not relying on clean sheets. They're not even relying on assists. They're just there. If they're pumping that ball into that box, you remember a successful cross was going to add to their point performance marks. And if a successful cross goes into the box, a hell of a lot of time, that's going to be a big chance created. That's 1 point. The amount of points that these fullbacks now can create is real. I think Trent will probably be going up in price before he's going down. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and the thing is... Go on.
It's just off the back of obviously clean sheets and thinking that obviously if Trent concedes, which they probably will, because obviously Liverpool have been quite poor at the back, I don't think that's the be all and end all now. Forget about the clean sheets. I'm thinking, let's go for these attacking lads. These players like Trippier, Trent, Reece James to a degree, but obviously not this season. But probably Chilwell, like James has touched on. Our attacking is putting balls into the box, creating big chances. These are 3 points. These every time one of these creates a big chance, it's a point. It's just a point. What do you? All right, so they lose 5, don't they, for not getting a clean sheet? They could easily fill that up with big chances created, or all the other crap. It's I'm not fussed about the clean sheets.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the thing is, if you want Trent in for the next fixture against Bournemouth, you're going to lose your price rise if he does concede anyway. You know what I mean? Unless he gets, like you say, bonus points. So you might as well just suck it up and have him for the first match, and then you've got him for Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Tricky.
I didn't think of that
definitely.
actually. But if you bring him in for Bournemouth, you lose it, don't you?
Yeah.
Lose the price.
But then again, looking at the Chelsea-Liverpool, the last 4 fixtures between Chelsea and Liverpool have been 0-0.
Yeah.
So it could be another 0-0. You never know.
I don't think it will be.
No.
I've got a feeling there's goals in that game. But you never know. It's just, yeah. We'll see.
A lot of love for your team in the chat, Ben. A lot of love for your team. Connor's saying best team so far.
Is it Bruno?
I was going to put Wilson in just to sweeten Connor up, but
These teams have been a lot different so far, which is good.
One person the same though in each, and it's going to be a full house with mine.
Go on, Scott. Right, am I clearing this team off?
Yeah, but you may as well. There's one person you may as well not click the cross on, and that's Johnston.
I knew it's going to be Oh, is it? I'm going to say Fernandez then.
It's a full house.
Fernandez in there, I reckon.
It's a full house of Johnston. Now, I was looking at Pickford for so long, just because they've kept, I think it's 3 out of 4 clean sheets pre-season. They conceded 1 goal in 4 games. And I started to get a little bit shaky after this Tarkowski injury. He's a big player for them, isn't he? And then I saw what you could do with the extra budget as well. I'm not always one that goes for the cheap keepers. I know you are, Ben, aren't you? You pride yourself on a cheap keeper. But I'm going to go with it.
An extra premium player then.
Well, especially as now they've got saves.
Yeah.
Now there's saves thrown into the mix. It feels like it's not so bad. So I'm going with Johnston in goal. The same as a few of you as well. I've got Estupinian from Brighton in the defence. I just think he's the best pick from Brighton at the back. He's a little bit more expensive than Dunk, but you've got goals. I think he actually only grabbed 1 goal in the end, but I think he got something like 9 assists, something like that. He had that really good spell at the end.
He did.
He won a penalty as well today, so he doesn't enough get forward. So I've got him in defence. I've got Saliba from Arsenal, pocketed Haaland today. And I think I saw that Haaland's not scored in 6 games now, so maybe we should be reconsidering. But we won't be going there. So Saliba at the back. I think Arsenal's got really good fixtures. But then someone a bit different. I've seen him in a few teams. I've got Colwill from Chelsea.
Yep, I like that.
I'm starting off with him. One thing I am considering is do I just maybe choose someone that's got a better fixture at the start, and don't go with him against Liverpool, and then bring him in for that next game. I'm gonna keep him in the team there. So yeah, Colwill.
See that what you just touched on, Scott, is exactly what possibly wasn't a tactic in usual times a dream team.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, Cole was a great option at 2.5 million. If you can have Chelsea centre half at 2.5 million, you're on it. But then you're like looking at that first game, home to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Pick up goals all over the pitch. So you're like, could I actually just put somebody in at 2.5 million for the first game? I've got that many transfers. I just pop somebody. I'll put them in for the second game.
Yeah, I was thinking of like looking at I don't know, for example. I mean, another Brighton asset. I think there might be a couple of defenders at 2.5. You've also got Everton against Fulham. I could bring in a 2.5 there just for the 1 game, and then maybe switch it to Colwill, and then I'll have an idea of if he's actually definitely going to start as well after we've seen that first game. But we'll leave him there anyway as a placeholder first.
That's exactly what I love.
Then, so next in, I've gone for the same formation. I think we've all gone for the same now, haven't we? 3 at the back. I've got Bruno Fernandes. We don't have to mention him again.
Yeah.
And I've got another template pick of Saka as well. I think these two, both on penalties, both take set pieces. I think these are 2 really good ones. I think I'll be keeping them long term. To be honest, out of those picks, I'm looking at probably keeping Estupiñán, Saliba, Fernandes, and Saka long term.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, hang on. Let's just add Ben back in. He's just texted me. Ben needs adding back in.
Where is he though? He's saying he's not connected.
Is he in that waiting room bit?
Oh no, is it? Oh no, he's back now. There we go. He's here.
I didn't want him seeing my team, so I booted him out.
Kick Ben out for
it. Saka and Bruno, I just think are really, really great picks in that midfield. It does eat a big bit of your budget up, but I think it's going to be worth it. And you keep them for the long run, I think. This one's been causing me problems. So I wanted Foden here at 4.5. But I wanted to wait and see what happened in this Community Shield game. I thought he probably would get the nod. Pep's been talking him up, saying how he can play in midfield, how he can play on the wing. And he's been benched again.
He's a wanker.
in that 4.5 slot, I've gone for Grealish at the moment. I wouldn't have considered him at all before that bonus points change that we had. But I think he went from sort of like 10 bonus points or 13 bonus points up to I think it was 72 bonus points, top of the list bonus points.
Doesn't surprise me.
It's all those fouls that he wins, isn't it? So I'm putting Grealish there. And then if we get any early team news on that Friday and it says that Foden's due to start, I won't hesitate to swap him out for Foden, I think. But if I do miss the deadline or anything like that, I think Grealish is probably a bit more nailed, isn't he? So I'm going to leave him there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go for Martinelli of Arsenal. Ooh. Now, I actually had Martinelli down as being Trossard, but I had a little change up after I saw the Community Shield. I was basically planning to have either Eddie Nketiah or Trossard based on who was going to play up front. I was sure it was going to be one of the two. I didn't think it'd be Havertz, but obviously it was Havertz. So I'm going to go with Martinelli instead in that midfield. He was on all the set pieces today. Corners, free kicks. They were all terrible. They were all really bad deliveries. I think that was Oz was commenting that on Discord as well. I think he had one corner go out of touch as well. It's pretty useless, but hopefully he gets his boots on the right feet come start of the season.
I'd be kicked off then now.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. But then Haaland's up front, nice and easy.
Hard. Here we go.
Despite his drought, you can't go without him, can you? And then I'm going for Salah up front as my 7 million. Now, I just want to have a 7 million there because I know at certain points we're going to want to go between him, Kane. If Kevin De Bruyne comes back, you've got to have a way to get there easily, I think. So I think I'm going to keep a 7 slot. And I think that Salah slot is going to be the one that moves around. I'm looking at, I think I mentioned in one of my videos that I'm going to plan to do Salah for the first couple of weeks because he plays Bournemouth game week 2 and then Kane plays Bournemouth game week 3. So I think I'm going to do the swap from Salah to Kane, but we all know that didn't work out perfectly last year, did it? But do we learn?
No.
And then
never.
Last but not least, this is a little bit of a wild card one. So I liked the idea that you guys had as well with Enciso, and I kind of had him as a placeholder for a little while. I was looking at Eddie Nketiah. But João Pedro from Brighton. I've stuck him up front at 2 million. He's down as a striker.
He's down as a striker.
Yeah. So he's played at number 10. He's played striker for them, and he took and this was brought to my attention by the Discord community. That's why it's good to be in that Patreon. Pedro took the penalty today with Gross on the pitch. So Estepinian won the penalty and Pedro took it. So if he's taking penalties for Brighton and he's at 2 million, he's their record signing as well. So I'm gonna put him there. I think he might be one of the ones I tinker with, but I'm gonna leave it at that for now.
Yeah, if he's a record signing, he's probably gonna get more minutes than he. I remember was it Watford, João Pedro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
talented player. He is a talented player. Playing in a struggling Watford team. I think he played in Championship last year for Watford. Seen him a couple of times. Very good player. Yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye on. I recommend everyone keep that in their notebooks. João Pedro. But I mean, with Brighton, like they've got that many young players, like Enciso, that Buonanotte as well. He looked absolutely unbelievable when he came into the team. Is it Evan Ferguson? Well, how many players do they need going forwards as well?
They're building
Definitely
long
think-
term, aren't they? They're
Oh,
planning
they
to be in
are.
Europe for years ahead, I think.
I'll tell you what, they've got some talent in that squad. They've got some bloody good talent in that squad. They're a good side already as well. Doing really well. What do you reckon of Scott's team then, James?
I like it. Yeah.
It's a bit light at the back compared to you guys.
But it's bigger up front.
And Brighton
isn't it?
didn't keep
Bigger
a lot
in
of clean
midfield.
sheets last year, did they?
Yeah, and it's a
They're
bit
not
worrying with
brilliant.
the longer games.
So is that being brought into the Premier League as well?
What's that?
Yeah.
The extended time yesterday. So
Yeah.
I had to watch Rovers. I swear to God, that second half, I don't think there was one stoppage, and they put 9 minutes up. It was unbelievable. I honestly nearly fell over.
It's what happened at the World Cup. So we watched the World Cup and they were doing all these long stoppages. But then when we came back to the Premier League, they still had the rules from the first half of the season.
Yeah.
So they just stuck with their rules, and then they've reassessed it now for the new season.
Yeah. It's it's tricky. Like these clean sheets are probably going out the window, won't they? Last minute goals and all that jazz.
Have you noticed we've all got 3-4-3 as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I know I've got a couple of massively expensive defenders in mine. And I'm pretty much playing towards. I'm hoping that the points from crosses and chances created, obviously at the +1, but then I'm hoping that then adding to the play performance marks, which then could give you a 1-2 point bonus there as well, without having to actually keep a clean sheet, score a goal, assist. That's what I'm kind of working my mentality on. Is trying to work out these new point system, and it's new to us all, isn't it? We're all fresh to it. And
I did have a stat on that new point system and defenders. So a lot of us, we've all gone for the 3-4-3. Is it all of us?
Yeah.
It is all of us, isn't it?
yeah, I think we all went for 3-4-3. Yeah.
So out of the top 30 players in the new total points, so points that would have been scored with these new rules, only 2 players were defenders. And you've got both of them, Tony. It was Trippier and Trent. They were the only defenders in the top 30 players. No goalkeepers.
Yeah.
So it does seem like it must I know it always has been the case that the attacking players usually do better, but it does feel a bit more weighted towards midfielders and strikers.
Yeah, I think if you were going across, like say the back line of Newcastle, for example, Shaw, Botman and Byrne, who did very well last year, they are nowhere near creating the opportunities that Trippier was, and doing the attacking things that he was. So it's weighted towards, like I say, these crosses, these chances created. You're not getting Botman creating chances. As much as like he might have kept up with Trippier with clean sheets and 7 ratings and even Starmans and that, because Botman he did quite well last season. But when you take the 7 ratings and the Starmans out of it, you're looking at like, right, hold on, we're looking at crosses, we're looking at chances, assists. This is what we're after. So centre halves, I know they get they have a decent pass completion rate, don't they, centre halves, because they just tap it between themselves, and usually that's a couple of points towards their player point performance. But yeah, I think these fullbacks, these attacking fullbacks, are especially like Trippier on set pieces. Trent, he's on set pieces. It's going to make a big difference. massive difference.
Just to play
I think
devil's
worth the
advocate
money.
on that,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. If you sort the difference in points between the new rules and the old rules, Kieran Trippier is 73rd. He would have benefited by 84 points, but he's way down the list. So I don't know if I can see what you're saying, and it makes sense. But if you look at the stats, he wouldn't have actually benefited. He was quite way down the list, 73rd.
But I think because he was he was high up there anyway on the points. So if you look at, say, I don't know if you can quickly get it up, James, but then where's Sven Botman?
Where's Botman?
So yeah,
in terms
in
of
comparison,
overall
improved points. Whether it improved or not.
Botman was down in 111th, and he would have got 74 more points. And compared to Trippier's 84, so 10 points difference.
I think with Trippier, if you take away, so obviously the new scoring, they've took away his 7 ratings, took away his Star Man awards, and for him to still improve his points tally is pretty impressive because you've took away 2 of his biggest assets, but then they've also then replaced it with a few strengths of his. So because he was such a big point scorer to begin with, I think it kind of levels it out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, if you sort by total points using the new rules, Trippier's in 7th. Which is pretty good for a defender, but he is 6 million, so you've got.
He's definitely. You definitely have to pay for his points, don't you? But he was bloody good last year, and we know how many crosses he puts into the box, and every time it lands on somebody's head, it's a point. More or less, I guess.
Do you have a look at some of the Discord questions from our patrons?
Yeah.
That's our drafts. But disclaimer: I'm sure we're all going to be probably tinkering between now and the deadline because there's just so much changes every day. I don't think
I'm just clicking confirm team here on your team. I'll just click that. I'll have your team. Yeah, why not?
That's my decoy team.
Hey boys, are we not having a captaincy discussion here? Looks like we're all unanimous with that one.
Haaland.
Yeah.
Haaland every week, isn't it?
Not every week, but definitely this week, I think.
I was going to quickly I see Seth's got a question in there just about does Havertz take Partey's position and Nketiah or Trossard to play against Forest? Partey was really, really good. I would have said that I think Declan Rice would have gone into that holding role on his own, and then we would probably play Havertz in that left centre mid and then someone up front. But yes, it's hard to know because Partey was that good today. And when we had to make a sub, it was Rice that went off and we kept Partey on the pitch. So it's going to be a really tough one. That's why I've pretty much just stuck Martinelli and Saka because I think they're the safest. But I would like to. I mean, Trossard, it was a deflected goal, but he did change. He'd done a few nice flicks. He'd done a bit of nice passing, and he did make the goal in the end. So yeah, it's going to be hard. Nottingham Forest are going to be probably sitting quite deep, aren't they? So I think they're going to want to put Havertz on the pitch for his height. I think.
Yeah.
We've got any others? We've got any others in the chat quickly before we go on to the Discord ones? I think that's about it.
No, I think that's mostly.
Shall I keep on going, or how's your hiccups? How's your hiccups doing?
Sorry, you carry on, Scott. I need to go and get another tin. Get these hiccups back.
Right, so we've got the Discord questions from our Patreon community. And like I said, if you're watching this is live to patrons, but if you're watching this in the future, you can sign up via the link in the description below. But we'll kick things off with Baz's question. We'll have to do Tony last. I've got something cutting it out here. It's his favourite is it 3.5 million player, any position?
Yeah.
Who wants to start? Ben, do you want to go first?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really got a favourite one, but the one that's standing out for me at the moment is William Saliba. I just think for that price in a top team like Arsenal, nailed back, good fixtures for Arsenal as well to start with. So I'm saying him. What do you think, Scott?
Saliba. Let me just double check because is that what does the question definitely say 3.5? Because I've got something
Exactly
out on my screen.
It's got to be 3.5.
Exactly
No higher, no lower.
3.5. I've got Saliba in my team, and I think he is my only 3.5 I had. But I did really like the idea of Matoma. I had Matoma for quite a long time, and despite March having much better numbers than Matoma, I just still think either I've got a soft spot for him after last season where he done so well, but I think he will push on. So I'm probably going to say Saliba. Sorry, not Saliba. Matoma at 3.5 from Brighton.
James?
I had Matoma written down as well.
Oh. No, you're there.
Well,
you're there.
No, you're good.
I had Matoma written down as well, and Saliba was my second choice. So I think they're the standout options in the exactly 3.5 million bracket that Baz requested.
Tony?
Tony.
Third, Mitoma. Massive Mitoma fan. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think at 3.5 million, he's complete value for money. Brighton are in Europe. He pretty much gets the nod on that left-hand side for them. He's involved in everything. He's brilliant. But if I can't go Mitoma, another one that is kind of against Saliba because I think Saliba's a steal as well at 3.5. But Timber at Arsenal as well.
He looked good.
I think we know from him playing in the Euro game of a dream team. He's someone who can get some decent points. So I'm excited to see what he can muster up in the game. And at 3.5 million, I think it's.
I think he'll keep Zinchenko out the side. Zinchenko's he has been injured, and I think he played I think I saw someone say he played like 11 minutes in the game for Ukraine, like a charity game. I think Timber will keep him out the side until he's fully fit, and I think he might struggle to get back in. To be fair.
Yeah.
Fancy
Havertz
3.5 up top.
I was just about to say, what do you think? Because I didn't watch the full game. What was your thoughts on Havertz today?
I think he should have done better with the chances that he had. I mean, like you said, he got the 1 point each time he hit the target. I think that was 2 in the end. I think he had 2 shots on target. But yeah, he did. I thought he looked a little bit off it, actually. I was a bit disappointed, to be fair. But I mean, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, though, because City are so good, aren't they? It's not going to be the same game playing against Forest.
He's been playing midfield, though, hasn't he, in the previous games? And then today they put him up front. So it's totally different to what he's been doing previously.
Yeah, I think maybe they just wanted a little bit more height as well to go a little bit more direct against City than some of the other sides. But yeah, he was a little bit disappointing today. I don't think I've seen enough to start with him. But just looking now, he's in 9% of teams.
It's tricky with Havertz because I tell you what, seeing him in Germany, he's such a talented player. So talented. Good goal scorer, good creator of goals. He comes over to Chelsea and it just seems his career has just been absolutely ruined. And I think he's no confidence whatsoever. I've not seen him for Arsenal yet, so I'll leave that open. But what I will say is that if they can get the same player that was playing for Leverkusen a few years ago, they've got one hell of a player on their hands because he is bloody good. He's got the talent. Whether they can eke it out of him, Arteta needs to do a little bit of magic with him.
Yeah. Right. Next one up. Questions. We've got Ryan Driver. Quite difficult this time building budget and targeting fixtures. For example, having Rashford for week 1 and then swapping for Salah week 2 might mean a decrease in value if Salah blanks against Chelsea. How are you going to approach building budget? Who wants to kick off? Building budget. We need our man here.
Yeah, man knows his shit, doesn't he?
I'm going to be pulling his hair out with them Johnston goalkeepers, though.
Oh. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky this year. Because obviously your planning is completely different. You're planning towards 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah. Are you going to swap Rashford out for a Salah in week 2? Are you going to attack the fixtures knowing that you can go down? It's literally another strategy, isn't it? Are you going to do it? Are you going to
It's
not?
definitely going to be harder. It's definitely going to be harder this time around.
It's so tricky. I mean, as we go on and we do this podcast, and we're going to do it throughout the season, we're going to come to these decisions of right, what's going to happen next week. We're going to have such body against such body. Such body's just blank this week, but you want such a body in, and then that exact scenario is going to come up on our podcast on a Sunday evening. I mean, are you going to just hold on to a player just to not lose budget?
Well, for example, you've got Trippier and Trent. If they decrease after the first week, are you gonna stick with them? You gonna hold your nerve? Or are you gonna?
But I wouldn't know whether they decrease until I've kept them, would I?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, because you got the next lot of fixtures.
So we'd have a good guess of right. Hold on. So they didn't keep a clean sheet. Are they going to go down? Possibly. Right. But it's difficult. It's so difficult. There's too many factors now. It's not as easy as it used to be.
No. And do you think that means you're going to not be able to build as much? Do you think?
I think so. I think it's going to. Yeah. I think it's going to hold a lot of people back. Definitely. I think if Aman can build a budget like he did last season, I'll be fucking impressed. I'll tell you that. Because I don't. Go on, Ben.
What do you want me to say?
Oh no, you got any plans to build? Any plans on how you're going to build budget?
I'm starting to think about just having 3 strikers up front and not mess about too much, because you're just going to end up losing so much budget if players blank and then you want them for the next game. You know, I don't know. So you want Salah for the second game. It's just tricky. I don't know. Like, I want Salah for Bournemouth, but I also want Kane. I also want Rashford at some point. So I think it's going to be easier to play with 3 players and try and fit 4 in somehow than to do it with 2, and you're going to miss Hulls. I don't know, because it's basically trial and error this season, because we've never played this format before. It's going to be interesting. Like, do you drop down Saka and put a 3 top strikers in, or do you drop your Trent down and put 3 strikers in? Or do you just go with Jackson and hope Jackson does well, and then you can keep your top midfielders and top defenders?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. I'm still debating it. James?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but what I would say is if you pick the right players and they do well, they will go up in value. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily be taking out a premium player just because he had a bad week. I think that could burn you because he might have a good week the following week. So I think people should be concentrating more on gaining maximum points than trying to chase value. Especially when it comes to premium players. I don't know if there is going to be the strategy that there was previously where you could go, well, he's going up, he's coming down. I don't think it's not going to be as easy as Tony said. So yeah, I would be wary of like dropping a premium asset just because he's had one bad week, because I think that could end up burning it. And over time, of course, he will gain value. So it might be sense to chase points rather than pounds.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, James, just reading the question again. If you want to Rashford for week 1, for Salah in week 2, my recommendation would be have Rashford from the start, and you don't have to do that swap. And I think you've got to plan for the first 3 weeks. Plan for the first 3 weeks, possibly. Just stack up your transfers, maybe if things go well, you've no injuries or you've no concerns, and then you've got a little bit of play there then for the rest of the month. And I'd probably say that from the start of every month is maybe get through the first week or so without using a transfer, set up for that, and then drive on from there. But I get what Ryan's trying to say. Is like we're going to have a lot more issues. I think what he's doing is raising. There's going to be problems there where with these with the rise and fall of prices, especially amongst the premiums, it could catch us out. But I think if you're on the premiums to begin with, and you've only got a few enablers, then the premiums hopefully won't come out.
Yeah,
that's that.
You'd have to have a bad time, wouldn't you, for your like Salahs or your Kanes to drop a lot of value? They'd have to be really
completely screw you. Yeah, I mean, you might try to high. Yeah, because even you rewind, even Salah having a bad game, like in the old Dream Team format, Salah's had an absolute stinker, but he's probably still put 3 shots on target, so that's 3 points. Do you know what I mean? He's probably still a little bit big chances created. There's other shit, so he's probably still going to score points. I don't think it's going to be as harsh as last season for these top players.
Yeah, I'll just put down here. It looks good on paper, but to actually get it in practice is going to be a lot harder. But I just thought maybe look at longer term picks to build your budget. So like we've all got Johnston in goal. We're probably not looking to move him on after 1 week. We're probably looking and think, let's give him 6 weeks and he should get more than 1.5. The same with Colwill. I'm looking at Colwill thinking as long as he plays, 2.5 seems underpriced. So if he can get up to above 3, maybe sell him at that point.
Be nice, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be worth trying to hop around Salah and Kane for the price rises or your big boys. I don't think. I think just if you can try and keep some ones that you think are underpriced for a long period of time, maybe you can jump off for a profit, but it is going to be hard.
Yeah, a hell of a lot harder.
We've got Patrick. Should we move on to the next one?
Yep.
This is a quick fire one. Saka or Rashford for the first 3 game weeks? Well, I don't think we saw one Rashford, did we, in those teams? Oh, no. Did someone have Rashford?
No.
No, I think they all went Bruno.
Bruno. We've all got Bruno.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, isn't it? Picking between the two. it's more Rashford or Bruno, and I think him being on pens has swung it for me. If I had Rashford on pens, I think I would have gone Rashford. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm going Saka out of them two, definitely.
Yeah,
at the moment.
but
Bit
I do
cheap
think
as well.
he's still going to smash it, isn't he?
Oh yeah, you can't have them all though, like I said. Yeah, Saka for me. Penalties, main man. Fernandez is the one from United for me. And then, he's on penalties as well. So it's just tricky because you can only have 3 strikers. You can't have, because I want Kane, I want Salah, I want Haaland. It's impossible to have them all.
Yeah.
It's tricky as well. United's fixtures, they've got 2 nice home fixtures and then 2 tricky away fixtures. So they've got Wolves and Forest at home and then Tottenham, Arsenal away before the international break.
International break? Don't talk to me about international breaks. Surely not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you not looked at the Dream Team Tonic fixture grid?
Oh, Ben.
Is that up? Is it ready?
Hey?
Is the grid ready?
Yeah.
Honestly. Yep. Well, I'm not seen it yet, but yeah, that's shocking.
So unanimous on Saka then?
Yeah, definitely Saka, yeah.
James, you in agreement?
100%.
No, I think if I had to choose between the two, I think I probably would go Rashford, actually.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh, controversial.
Jet lag.
You got Saka in your team.
I'm looking at the points, the points from last season and the differences, etc. Let's have a look. So, yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, Saka would have got more points in the new system, but he's still. I mean, Rashford was the second highest point scorer last year. If let me just double check that. So he was. Rashford's the second highest point scorer last year. Do we think? Why would there be a drop off? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough because I do think that Rashford probably will score more points than Saka, but I feel as though I've covered Rashford with Bruno, and then I can have Saka. Yeah. That's the only downside. But if it's a straight shootout, probably is Rashford, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey Tony, there's an international break after game week 8 as well.
Don't wind him up, man. He'll go on one of his rants.
Oh, for God's sake!
We've got
we've always got football back, and we're already chatting about a fucking international break. That means nothing. Means nothing, does it?
You say that, and then when the Euros and the World Cup come, everyone's like, "Come on, England!"
I do love that, but I don't like the international breaks, though. We should just get automatically qualified. We don't have to have these breaks.
You can't do that. I think we've talked about this before on a pod. I think you should have your season August to say April, and then do the international break right at the end. And play all the games every week as like a knock, like your qualifiers, and then that's it. Done, bang.
Makes sense.
Then you're not traveling back and forth. You're all together as a squad, and you just play your qualifiers.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Baz up next. Baz Bestos. Do you think the additional injury time that we're seeing devalues the points potential of defenders, given the increased probability of a clean sheet wipeout, as we saw with Man City today? And are you spending less in defence than you normally would as a result?
No,
honestly, I didn't know this was all across the game. I thought this was just an English Football League thing. This new time added on structure. Literally, right. So the first half at Rovers, I'm watching, and I get it. So every time the ball goes out of play, every time there's a goal scored, they stop the watch. on this, that, other. I think the first half, I think there were 5 or 6 minutes added on, 7 maybe, which are fair enough. There were 2 goals. There was, like, I don't know, there were a few injuries and stuff, but yeah. So you're like, yeah, that's acceptable. And then it got to the second half, and I don't know whether it was because the beers were flowing, and I didn't really know what was going on, but I'm not the only person who said this, but the game didn't actually stop at all. There was one more goal, there was a few substitutions, but when they came out and they said there's 9 minutes added on. 9 minutes. And the game hadn't stopped. There were no like injuries or anything. It was just substitutions and a goal. And you're like, that is just mental. That is, I mean, if we were chasing the game 2-1, then I'd have been all for it. But when you're trying to defend the lead and it's 2-1, we're like, piss off. What you do here 9 minutes from where? But
yeah, it was 8 today, 8 in the Community Shield, and it didn't really feel that bad. And then there was an injury that happened in injury time that ended up. I mean, it won us the trophy, but but what about your teams then? Are you gonna spend less money at the back? You've still got the big time Charlies at the back.
But I think that's why maybe you're better off going for the big time Charlies than that. I'm not going for someone who probably cements the cleans, because you need to you can't rely on your defenders to have clean sheets. You'll get 110 minutes of football sometimes now. And I don't think, especially like City, were probably most reliable for clean sheets. But then it got to 89, 90 minutes, and they like to let one in, didn't they?
Attacking returns.
Attacking returns well. All the way for me. All the way, man.
It's interesting to see what Pep said today about the new rules, actually. He said they extend matches for goals. If every time you score a goal in a game that is 4-3 and put on 30 seconds or 45 seconds for 7 goals, then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. we are still playing. So he thinks that they've changed the rule to get more goals.
Was that after,
so it's an interesting
thought about it. Was that after the result today, James?
Yeah, that was after the result today. And he's like, it's a good question from the international board and all the people, because they don't consult the managers. They don't consult the players. What is their opinion? You go there and you have to accept it. You have to do it. He's not happy about it, but clearly today's result would have probably brought that to the fore.
Probably clouded whatever his judgment was.
Yeah.
What they did a thing, didn't they? Last season, or was it the season before? Brentford averaged like 55 minutes every match because of the time wasting and taking throw-ins and everything. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah,
add as many minutes on as possible. Get the more goals. Get the game flowing. Stop the time wasting.
Ben, I'll absolutely second that, because I watched the Rovers game yesterday, and every ground has to have the multi-ball system.
Yeah.
So basically, as soon as that ball goes out, you've got another ball thrown back to the player. You get it back straight back in play. Let's get the game going. And we seen probably 95 minutes of football yesterday. Bloody good football as well, because Rovers were bloody brilliant. But what I would say is that, like you're saying, is Jokic's like 57 minutes usually, because it's gone out of play and such. Yeah, he's scratching his horse. He can't be horse picking ball up. He go there. You know what I mean? He'll do all that. He'll pretend to drop the ball and give it back. Trying to take a throw in. It's so
rolling
annoying.
Around on the floor.
Yeah, rolling around on the floor. Roll around for all you want, mate, and it'll get added on.
That's what happened today. Erdegaard got treatment. He got treatment, went off the pitch, and he was ready to come on, and there was a good opportunity for him to come on. But they just kept holding him back. And the commentator said that there is now a minimum time of 30 seconds that they have to stay off the pitch, and it's to stop players going down on purpose.
Good.
You can't then just
Good.
come straight back on again. So
Good.
he had to just stand there like a wally for a little while, waiting to come back on. But yeah, I think it's a
That's
good
good.
thing overall.
Because what it'll do is it'll trim it down, because everyone will learn and they'll go, "Oh, we can't do that." It will eradicate it. It won't get rid of it completely, but it'll get rid of it to 90%.
Another quick fire one we've got here from Coles, 1993. We've got Foden or Grealish to start the season. You've got to pick one.
Congratulations, Coles, on the new arrival.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations, mate. I'd go Grealish personally. I think it's a safer pick, only because of the minutes. Pep doesn't seem to want to unleash Foden. I wonder if it's because Foden does actually have injury issues. But it doesn't seem set. I can't see any other reason, because he looks great when he comes on. He's lively, but he never gets a real run, does he? So I got a feeling he's got underlying injury problems or something, because from the outside looking in, it doesn't make sense. So I go Grealish, safer pick, even though he was shit today.
Yeah, we got. I was surprised when he got dragged. Yeah, well, he's been quite good apparently in pre-season, but yeah, he wasn't really at it today. I was more surprised that when he did get his number come up, that it was Foden that was coming on that left-hand side, because in my head I had it was going to be Bernardo and Foden fighting it out for the right, and Grealish was pretty safe on the left. But actually, Cole Palmer come on for Bernardo on the right and scored a Mahrez-esque goal, so that's made it even harder, I think. But I'm going to go with Grealish just because safety reasons, playing it safe.
Yeah, I'd nearly ended up with a Grealish tattoo. He did a little bit better last season, but yeah, in fact, I ended up with my dog instead. Grealish, shit out, mate. But there is still space on this arm if I do have you next year. But yeah, Grealish, probably. Foden's so talented. He's so good, Foden. Why ain't he fucking playing every single week? Day in, day out. It frustrates me.
Ben?
Neither for me. I just can't go near him. I don't like Grealish for Dream Team. I know he's top of the bonus points, but I don't know. I just can't go near him. And I know it's a glorified friendly today, or whatever you want to call it. But he come off early, didn't he, Grealish? And that's only 1 point. If you didn't make the 60 minutes.
Yeah.
I know normally he does play longer.
Risking it.
And then Foden's. If Foden was starting every week, I'd have Foden hands down. But we don't know. From at the moment, it looks like Foden's on the bench, but he played really well when he came on. That I seen. I didn't sit and watch the full game, but he looked really good, electric when he came on. He was running at the defense and that. But like you say, if we get a leak on Friday, could possibly come into my mind, but definitely not Grealish for me. I don't like him.
Is there a chance that Foden sort of becomes the new Mahrez in our eyes? You know how we used to say, if you pick him, you just got to stick with him for a few weeks.
It's a different format now, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
you're getting 2 points every time you bust the 60 minutes. It's
that's the thing, isn't it?
A lot of money, a lot of points over the season.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think that's all of our questions. That's all of our questions there. Any more just quickly look at the chat. Any more in the chat? No, I think we're good. That's all of our questions. Quick plug for some of the bits we've got going on in the Patreon and the Discord. So we've got a few blogs that have been going out as well. If you haven't checked them out already, if you're a Patreon member, you can have a look at the blogs. We've got a blog from Simon Davis, having a look at previous successes in the format of Dream Team. And then we've got our very own Wooly as well, Matt Wooly. We've got two blogs from him as well on the Patreon site that you can take a look at to help with your decisions for this one. And we've got your fixture eases up as well now, Ben, is it?
No, the fixture ticker's up. I'm going to try and finish the fixture ease this week and get it published.
But yeah, a ton of good features there, and even just bouncing ideas off each other in that Discord. That's one of my favourite features. So yeah, the link to the Patreon is in the description below. And where can we find everyone on Twitter? We've got them on the screen there, Tony.
At
handle
DTT_Tony. Follow me. Love a few pints.
Ben.
At DT Tonic Ben.
Where can we find you, James?
At James A. Fricker.
And then mine is at Dream Team Prof. So you can find us all on Twitter there. Have a chat with us on there. I think, is that everything? We've got the leagues all below. Anything else, Ben?
They got the a link to the Fantasy Football Hub. We're going to be writing an article. You've just done one, haven't you, Tony, for the Fantasy Football Hub?
Yeah, we did a pre-season article. We're going to do another one as well. Excuse me, hiccups are back. We're going to do one with our drafts, which probably be more up to date as well, because obviously we've got another 3 or 4 days before having to post that. So yeah, there'll be access to that. That'll be on the Patreon as well. So if you're listening, and you're not on the Patreon, patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic, you get all access to our first full draft, probably the teams that we're attacking the season with, which it's new to us all. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting season. The tag team league is one that's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to that. Scott, who's your tag team partner?
It's me and Connor.
You and Connor.
We've been scheming.
You did the all December pick with Goo.
Yeah, I'm with him. Scott McKee.
Yeah, James.
Yeah.
Well, if you recall, Tony, we went through this at the start of the pod, but keep drinking the cause, though. I haven't got one yet, but I'm willing to accept applications to my messages.
Yeah, it's like what's it called? Tinder. That's the one.
One last thing I've remembered as well. If you just happen to stick with us for 1 hour and 43 minutes and you still don't know the new rules on Dream Team, we've got Andy, one of our Patreon members. We're going to put a link in the description because he's got a how to play on the new rules, and a link to my page as well, where I've got a similar thing and some players to target as well. But I think that just about covers it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Should we sign
Cheers,
off?
Scott.
Yeah.
Lovely, lads. Good to see you.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, everyone.
Good evening. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.